What's up guys, 8-Bit Wizard here, and today I'm going to be showing you Python for loops. But before I do that, go ahead and hit that subscribe and like button, comment what you liked about the video and what you want me to present and teach in the future. Anyways, let's get started. So we'll first make a list and just call it example list, and we'll go ahead and number 1 through 5. And then to start the for loop, you go ahead and write for your iterator, which in this case is going to be I, in which is the pointer to what you want to iterate to, which is going to be example list, add your colon, and then write what you want to do. So in this case, we just want to print I. And as you can see, it prints 1 through 5. And so this works with tuples. But to showcase that, we'll do a tuple, and we'll say the tuple is equal to 1 through 3. That way we can just have a different number set when doing it, right? And we get 1 through 3. You can also do strings, so we'll go ahead and say example string, and we'll set this equal to a list of strings, right? Because lists can hold strings, and we'll just say I am a string, right? So we save and run this. That's not going to print what we want because I forgot to change this. And then we can see I am a string, right? Now if we set it back to example list and we try and do something like example list I, right? And because some people are like, well, it's an iterator, it should be able to do indexes, right? Especially the people coming from C++ and other languages that use a different type of for loop, right? But that's not the case. So of course we get a list out of index range. That's because what the for loop does is it grabs I and it grabs the first element of example list, which is 1, right? So if when we do example list and a list can be indexed, we say example list 1, which is 2, and then example list, it knows the length of it, so when it tries to iterate through all of them, it goes out of range, right? But in this case, what we could do is just say -1, and then it would work. But these are just kind of like cheatsy ways to do it. The recommended way is just to print it out if you want to do that, right? What you can do, and we'll use the string one for this example, right? But this would work for any one of them, is you can make a variable called count and just use this variable to count, right? And so what you can do is say example string count plus equal 1. When you save and run this, you can see it prints out I am a string. And so count and using a variable like count, you know, helps control the flow of it, right? So for example, we'll say, we'll go back to list, and then we want to print it out, but we'll say if count is equal to let's say 3, what do we want to do? We want to print I is equal to 3, right? So actually, nope, it's not going to be true. Could do that. There we go, right? So it prints it out first, right? And then once I is 3, we print out I is 3, right? But of course, count would also work because count starts at 0 and works its way up, right? So that's what we're using to print out. So you could also say count, and then it'd also print out. Nope. this case, it's gonna have to be, so like what index do you want, right? So so 2 in this case, right? Then it will print it out correctly. When you do 3, of course, it's going to iterate through that certain one, but so count will always have to be 1 down, but if you use I, then of course that's going to work. But it just kind of helps to control the flow of it, and like you can mess around with this quite a bit. You can say if count is equal to 3, then we could just say count is equal to 3, right? So count is equal to 3, but the third index is 4, right? Because 0, 1, 2, 3, 0 index. But yeah, so like there's different things you can do, but it just helps to control the flow, and it's also used to print out the indexes of like a list and stuff. You can also use a for loop for I in range, right? So we can do a range and we can say 0 through 12. What do you want to do? We just want to print out I. So the range function allows you to do this as well, and the range in this case goes from the starting point of 0 up to but not including 12. And even if you made this a variable and try to iterate through it, it would work because it's 0 index, right? So example is equal to, and then we'll just go ahead and cut that, paste that, and say example, and then we'll do example I, and then if we save and run that, we can say it prints out. But if we do, let's say 1, try and do it, then we get basically indexes out of range, and that of course is because if it starts at 1, it's not going to index properly, so they have to be 0 based. Can though, however, just do this. And what this does is it says you want a list of 12, like a range of 12, right? And it starts at 0 and goes through up to but not including 12, right? And so if you just put one number in, it starts at 0. However, you can create your starting point by putting it in before, and then it will do it, right? So, boom. Better to just display it like that. But yeah, so it can start at 5 and then go up to but not include 12 again. And so let's do a list of colors just as an example. All right, so we'll say blue, we'll say green, we'll say black, and we'll say purple, right? And then so what we can do is for I in range length of colors, or in this case we'll do color. So what this is doing is it's getting the length of it, right? So however many there are, so 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So it's basically gonna run the range function we just saw previously, but place it with the number 4, so up to but not including, and it's gonna start from 0, right? So that, and then what we can do is we can say print color, right? And it will print out blue, green, black, and purple. And so the range function you can use with other functions and combine it different ways to kind of control the flow and change how the for loop is ran. But the very basic one is just your iterator variable, which in this case is color. Your pointer, which is into the variable that holds the values you want to iterate through, and it iterates through them, every single variable, right? So for example, we can say number is equal to 1, and every iteration we want to add 5 to number, right? And then once that's done, we want to go ahead and print out number, and then we can see do 0. So we can see that 4, okay, 5 times 4 is 20, so we get 20. And so just these iterations can, you know, can be used to change other variables over time and stuff like that. But that is it for this tutorial. If you have any questions, leave them down below. If you liked anything about this video and want me to keep doing that, let me know. And let me know what you want me to cover in the future. And don't forget to hit that subscribe and like button. Till next time.